In 2022, we did over 500 events. We crossed seven figures in revenue, and it almost broke me. And it almost broke my team. I remember sitting in my kitchen at the end of the year, looking at the numbers, looking at the calendar, and looking at how much my body hurt and how short my fuse was with the people that I loved. And I made a quiet promise to myself, never again. Not because seven figures wasn't worth it. It was, but because the way I got there was not sustainable. We'd become a machine that swallowed weekends, holidays, birthdays, and any chance of a slow morning. Every day felt like a launch sequence. There was no break in sight, and events were happening every day, multiple times a day, and everywhere. And I want to talk about that today because I see so many founders right now wearing event count like a badge of honor. And I get it. I used to do the same thing. But more events is not the goal. More events has never been the goal. The goal is profit. The goal is freedom. The goal is a business that pays the founder well and does not require their nervous system as a sacrifice. So today I want to break down the actual math, the actual mindset shift, and the actual moves to make if your calendar is full, but your life feels empty. Here's the line that should be tattooed on every photo booth founder's brain. Less work, more money. In 2023, we did 360 events. In 2025, we did 100 fewer, so 260 events. And we still made 25% more revenue. One more time. Less work, more money. It's not luck. That is not a lucky season. That is a deliberate strategy that took 2 full years of decision, painful conversations, lost clients, and a complete rewrite of what success looks like inside this business. And the wildest part, the team is happier. I'm happier. The clients are better. The events are more interesting, and the brand has gotten stronger, not weaker, by doing less. So how does the math actually work? It works because event count is a vanity metric. Revenue per event is the business metric. Profit per event is a freedom metric. When the focus shifts from how many to how valuable, everything inside the business starts to reorganize. The team stops being stretched across too many gigs. The gear stops getting hammered with no time for maintenance. And the founder, that's you, stops living in the back of a van. The bookkeeping gets cleaner because there are fewer transactions to track, and the clients get better because the brand is being seen by people who can afford brilliance instead of people hunting bargains. Here's the trap that I want to name out loud. In this industry, busy looks like proof. A booked out calendar looks like proof. A stack of inquiries looks like proof. So founders chase volume because volume feels safe. Volume feels like the business is working, like the answer to the anxiety of an empty week. But volume without margin just equals exhaustion. And here's what nobody talks about. Volume covers up bad pricing. When the calendar is full of low margin events, there's no time to stop and look at the actual numbers. There's no time to redo a proposal or to rebrand. There's no time to look at your position or upmarket. And there's barely time to eat lunch. So the cycle continues. You book more, you discount more, you run more, crash, repeat. The way out of the cycle isn't another event. The way out is a price increase and a target audience shift, both at the same time, but on purpose. Let me explain what that actually looks like. Step 1, look at your year. Pull the spreadsheet, look at every single event, and ask 3 simple questions. Which events did the team love working on? Which events brought in the most profit after all the costs were paid? And which events made everyone want to quit the industry? Because we all have those. The last question matters as much as the first 2, because the events that drain the team are the events that erode the brand, make your staff tired, and they make mistakes. Mistakes means refunds, and refunds means resentment, and resentment means turnover, and turnover means that you're stepping right back into the business, which is the one place you're actually trying to leave. Step 2, cut the bottom 20%. Just cut it. Stop pursuing that type of event, stop saying yes to that type of client, and stop letting that type of inquiry pass the discovery call. The pruning is what makes room for growth. Step 3 is raise your prices. I say this over and over again. And here's where most founders are going to flinch because raising prices feels like risking the calendar. Raising prices feels like throwing away clients who have been loyal to you for years. And for many people, they think it's arrogance. It's not arrogance, it's math. Let me say something about moving up the ladder because this is where the real shift happens. The photo booth market is not one market. There are stacks in every single one. Bargain tiers, mid-market, premium. And this is true for both weddings and for corporate. A lot of people think that you're either wedding or corporate, and that is not the reality. Both of them have tiers, and you have to go after different people in every single one of those. Each tier has different clients, different budgets, different expectations, and different problems that they're trying to solve. And different respect for what a great photo booth experience can do at an event. The founders who feel stuck are usually competing inside one of the tiers and getting squeezed by the people willing to charge less. The founders who break free move up the stack. They reposition the brand. They raise the price floor. They build the proposals for the bigger room. They show up to a different kind of pitch meeting. Moving up the ladder is not about being snobby. It's about choosing where to compete. Because the money is always somewhere. The money never disappears. The money just moves around in any economy, in any market, in any year. There are clients spending serious dollars on serious experiences. The question is whether the brand is positioned to be in that conversation. Here's what moving up looks like in real life. It looks like cleaning up the website so it speaks to the next tier client and not the budget shopper. It looks like rebuilding your proposals so they sell outcome and not just a list of features. It looks like networking inside rooms where the next tier client already lives. Wedding planners with luxury portfolios and trade show managers booking activations for major brands, corporate event planners working inside companies that view experiences as part of the culture and marketing spend. Gala and fundraiser coordinators who need vendors that hold a room. It looks like saying no to the familiar yes, the repeat client who paid the same low rate every year, the friend of a friend who keeps asking for a favor, the inquiry that arrives with a budget that doesn't match the brand. Saying no is the quiet skill that nobody teaches. But saying no is what creates the space for a better yes to walk in. And I want to address the question I get all the time. What about the founder who doesn't have a team yet? What about the solo operators? Does this still apply? Yes. Even more so for you guys. When you don't have a team, every event costs more than the price tag because it's your time, it's your body. Every event costs the founders clarity for the next week. So the math gets actually way more brutal. A solo operator running a full calendar on low margin events is not building a business. They've built themselves a job, a low paying job. The fix is the same. Fewer events, better clients, higher prices, and tighter offers. A solo operator running 30 high-margin events a year can out-earn an operator running 100 low-margin events. And the 30-event operator can take a vacation, can have a Saturday, can show up to a wedding that's actually not their job, can sleep on a Sunday morning without the dread of what's coming on Monday. The freedom isn't waiting on the other side of more bookings. Freedom is on the other side of better pricing. And here's the part that I want every founder to hear because I have lived it on both sides. In 2022, with 500 plus events and 7 plus figures in revenue, the pace was relentless. My body was tired. My team was tired. The weeks blurred into each other. I had built something I was proud of, and the cost of running it that hard was catching up with all of us. In 2025, with 100 fewer events than in 2023, the business made 25% more revenue. The team was still intact. I was sleeping. I had time to think. I had time to coach. I had time to build the next thing. The brand was stronger. The reputation was higher and the clients were better. That's not a story about working harder. It's a story about working smarter. And that is a story about protecting the asset, which is, the founder. It's the team and it's the brand. So this is a story that any founder listening to can write for their own business. Let me get specific about the price increase part because this is where most people get stuck in their heads. A price increase is not a single email. A price increase is a campaign. It starts months in advance. The first move is internal, looking at the numbers, looking at the cost per event, looking at your labor, your gear, your overhead, what's your actual profit margin. And most founders have never done this exercise cleanly. And when they do, the truth is real uncomfortable. The current price is not just a little low, it's a lot low. And the next move is external. Tell the audience the price is going up before it goes up. If it's a large increase, use the email list, use your social, use the conversation with planners, reference it for obvious reasons, right? Inflation, equipment costs, tariffs, higher quality of service, increase in minimum wage, whatever it is, there are rising costs every single year. Then make the change. Update your website, update your proposals, update your response template. and hold the line. The biggest mistake founders make in a price increase is folding the moment one prospect pushes back. One person walking away is not a sign that the price is wrong. One person walking away is a sign that the position is working. You're repelling the wrong clients, but the bigger question is, are you attracting the right one? The client who says yes at the new price are the clients the brand was built for in the first place. They were just being filtered out because the price was too low. So now they take you seriously. There's one more piece I want to put on the table, and it's the emotional piece, because this is the part that takes founders out more than the strategy part. Letting go of volume feels like a loss. Even when the math says it's a win, the gut says it's a loss. The calendar with fewer events on it looks empty. The empty calendar triggers the old fear, the fear that business is dying, the fear that the phone will stop ringing, the fear that the team will leave, the fear that the next month will be the month that it all falls apart. And that fear is real. And the fear is also a big fat liar. Because that fear is the same voice that talked the founder into saying yes to the event that drained the team. The same voice that talked to the founder about discounting. The same voice that told you just to do one more weekend, one more Sunday night, one more season of survival mode. The work of moving up the ladder is partly a numbers game and partly a nervous system game. And you need to learn and sit in that discomfort of a light calendar without rushing to fill it with the wrong work. You have to learn that a quiet week is not a death sentence. And you need to learn that the right kind of slow is what makes the right kind of fast possible later. That's leadership. And that's what builds a business that lasts a decade and not just a season. New markets have new trends. So what was once your busy season may not be anymore. And that is hard to process. So here's your homework. 3 things to do this week. First, pull last year's calendar, sort every event by profit, not revenue, profit. Revenue is what comes in, and profit is what stays after all the real costs. The labor, the gear, the mileage, processing fees, the admin time, the portion of the overhead that the event needs to absorb. If profit per event has never been calculated cleanly, that alone is the work of the week. I have a free calculator on my website, photoboothmastery.catalinabloch.com. Second, identify the bottom 20%. Mark them. Decide right now that next year, these types of events are not on the menu. The brand is not for that anymore. That decision has to be made before another inquiry like that hits the inbox, because in that moment, the temptation to make the easy money is real. Third, pick one move up the ladder. One, not all of them, just one. It might be cleaning up the website to speak to higher tier clients. It might be rewriting a corporate proposal. It might be reaching out to 3 planners in the next tier and offering to grab coffee or to show them what your booth can do. It might be raising your base price and rewriting the response templates that goes out every time a lead comes in. Pick one, move and execute before the end of the month. Small moves compound. The founders who win this game are not the ones who flip everything overnight. They are the ones who make one decision every week for 2 years straight. If anything in this episode hit a nerve, that is a good sign. That nerve is the part of the brain that's already knowing the truth. The part already sees the calendar, already sees the bank account, already sees the toll that this is going to take. That part has been waiting for permission to make a different choice. So here is your permission. Less is allowed. It is strategic. Less is profitable. Less is sometimes the only way to grow. So stop measuring this business by how packed the calendar is and start measuring it by how much profit, how much freedom, and how much pride is being built each year. That is the real scoreboard. And it is the only one that matters at the end of a decade in this industry. So if this episode shifted something, send me a DM. The handle is at photoboothmastery on Instagram. Share this message, tag a founder friend who needs to hear this. Don't forget to subscribe so that you either watch the video or get the update from my podcast. And for anyone ready to dig deeper into pricing, positioning, and the systems that make less feel like more, head to photoboothmastery.catalinabloch.com to see what is open right now. This is Scaling Out Loud. Now go look at your calendar with new eyes.